Hello guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Blackbeard. Blackbeard may not be the final villain of One Piece, but he is definitely the most important. Let's get into it. Throughout the series, destiny and fate has been a common theme. People comment over and over about how lucky Luffy seems to be and how fate seems to favor him. Even to preface Blackbeard's introduction, we saw his crew members. The first one that was introduced was Van Auga, which is no coincidence by Oda. He is the crew member who is always resigning himself and others to fate. In the Japanese dub, he says, "I wasn't able to kill one of them instantly, but that's his fate. That's the result of how it has lived." He says this after shooting a few seagulls, which is also foreshadowing by Oda, given that an augur in ancient Rome was a religious official who was thought to be able to read the future by interpreting signs, especially the behavior of birds. Him shooting them down specifically on the Straw Hat's ship was a sign of the fated conflict between the two crews. After Augur, we were introduced to Burgess, but he did not say much. Next up was Doc Q and his horse, ironically named Stronger. Him and Stronger happened to collapse in front of Nami, Zoro, and Luffy, and he asked them to help him up, which they obliged, and as compensation, Doc Q offered them apples. Zoro and Nami refused, of course, given they did not know him, but Luffy, being Luffy, accepted immediately and started eating the apple. An explosion went off immediately after this, and it was discovered that the apples that were in the Q's basket were the cause. Another pirate bit into one of them, and it exploded. Nami then tried to get Luffy to spit out the one he had eaten, but he remarked that he had already swallowed it. Doc Q then proceeded to call Luffy lucky, implying that he just happened to choose an apple that was not one of the explosive ones, again showing how fate smiles upon Luffy. It is quite evident that Luffy is destined for greatness, not having to put much thought into positioning himself to free the world from the clutches of the world government. It happens naturally. Luffy ate the devil fruit, formerly thought to be the Gomu Gomu no Mi, simply because he was hungry. He had no deep-seated reason for eating the fruit of Joy Boy, but you can tell it was as if he was chosen by destiny. He was born a conqueror, which is said to be an indication of kingly ambition, the power needed to reach the upper echelon of power. Robin, one of the few people in the world with the ability to read the road poneglyphs, joined his crew simply because he saved her life and she had nowhere else to go. Luffy does good deeds everywhere he goes simply based on his own whims and gains respect and notoriety. Blackbeard plans and takes meticulous actions to achieve the same result. Blackbeard seems to be trying to create his own destiny. His main opponent is Fate. Blackbeard will spend large amounts of time enacting plans to gain power, influence, and useful devil fruits, all things that come naturally to Luffy. Blackbeard in this way was always shown to be the complete opposite of Luffy. It was no coincidence that Oda chose to introduce him during Mocktown, a place where the Straw Hats were searching for answers on reaching Skypiea, and where the theme of dreams was so prevalent, and choosing to display the similarities between them while at the same time showing how different they are. Luffy chasing his dreams, the one chosen by fate, and Blackbeard chasing a similar dream, fighting against fate, and thus Luffy. The fight between Luffy and Bellamy was not only about cricket's gold, but also a battle of ideals, the dreamer versus the realist. Blackbeard's presence here is by design. Luffy was laughed at for his dreams by Bellamy and his crew, and none other than Blackbeard himself was there to affirm that Luffy was not the coward but the brave one for following his dreams. Delivering his most iconic quote to date. 人の夢は終わらねえ! Blackbeard has great ambition and wants to find the One Piece, similar to Luffy, but does not seem as if things happen for him quite as naturally. Fate just does not favor Blackbeard as much. Even his power, the fruit of darkness, one that takes power away, is like a counter to Luffy's Nika powers of the soul that gives life, hope, maybe even power. It has been implied numerous times that Luffy's fruit might have been used to serve as a power source during the 4th century, powering the ancient robot and such. He was always written as the antithesis to Luffy, which is why we all thought he would serve as the final villain of the series and the Straw Hats. At this point in the series, however, Blackbeard and his crew are not yet on the same level of power as the Straw Hats, except for Nami, Usopp, Chopper, maybe Brook. But I can see them getting stronger during Elbaf or some other island, especially Usopp. There have been numerous indications that he will grow stronger, though whether he grows in power as well as character remains to be seen. Oda never gave us a clear outline of what his dream to be a brave warrior of the sea actually means. For all we know, he could just accept his weakness and decide to help his crew whoever he can, even if that means dying, thus being brave. But personally, I want him to get stronger as well. Now, back to Blackbeard. Oda may plan to have him do something else to shake up the world and complete his trial of devil fruits that have been theorized by fans for years, giving Luffy even more motivation to fight him in the process. For example, if he kills Shanks or Marco, though to be honest, I don't see Blackbeard beating Shanks. Marco would be a better option, as he would also provide a strong fruit. Blackbeard also does not seem to be a conqueror, and as stated by Kaido, a key is needed to climb to the upper echelons of the world, and no matter how many devil fruits Blackbeard hoards, he will not be able to compensate for that. His ability to negate devil fruit is powerful indeed, but can he negate Haki? The point of Blackbeard, in my opinion, is to show that for all his effort, he could not attain the heights of power of Luffy, who was destined to be what he so desperately wanted to be. So with all that being said, when will Luffy fight and defeat Blackbeard? Before he gets to Laugh Tale. Luffy will likely get all 4 poneglyphs very soon now, and given that Blackbeard is such a sneaky man, shown in how he wormed his way into the 7 warlords of the sea and waited until Whitebeard was beaten to kill him and take his fruit, thus becoming a Yonko in the process, he has little reservations when it comes to the means by which he accomplishes his goals. He may just wait until Luffy gathers all 4 poneglyphs and Robin deciphers them to just attempt to swoop in and get the poneglyphs and directions to Laugh Tale for himself, thus making their battle a battle for the One Piece. After Blackbeard's imminent defeat, the Straw Hats will go to Laugh Tale, learn of the Void Sentry and all the secrets of the world government, and subsequently battle him to free the entire world. Imo and the world government are the final opponents. While I don't think Blackbeard is the final villain of the series, I do think he is the most important. He is needed if Luffy is to come into his own and grow as a character, solidifying him as the undisputed Pirate King. But those are just my thoughts on the matter. What do you think? Comment down below and subscribe to the channel for more anime and manga related content. Thank you.